Hello, thank you for tuning in. You are listening to the Cedric podcast series. Cedric Habiyaremye speaking. A few days ago, I posted on my Facebook and Instagram pages asking my online community and friends to ask me any question. However, the question they asked will surprise you. They asked very interesting questions. Before we go into their questions and my answers, I want to first of all to tell you what my post said. I said, if I had to answer any question you asked me today, what would you ask me? Many people sent their questions in box and others posted their questions in the comments section. And I would like to thank everyone who showed their interest and asked me questions. And I tried my best to answer almost every question. And below are the questions and their answers. Let's go. The first question I started with is many people asked, what is your biggest fear? This is a good one. Well, I would say my biggest fear is growing old and have lived a life with regrets. You know, we have one life and people tend to forget that. You always hear old people say, time flies. Make use of it while you can. I always heard this as a kid and I was like, okay. I was like, okay, I didn't understand it. However, growing to be like an 18 years old young man, that's when I start understanding it, and I find it that they are telling the truth and they want us to not waste our gift of life on the stupid things that do not matter. I came to realize like we have to, do with your life what you want to do. If you have a dream, go out and try to accomplish that dream. Do not fear failures. There is no such thing as failure. Sure, you may not have accomplished that goal you set, but I'm sure you learned something along the way of trying to accomplish that goal. What I'm saying here is live life to the fullest and enjoy it. There is nothing to fear. Another question they asked was, what was your childhood or earliest ambitions? My childhood, I would say I wanted to be both an expert in agriculture and a businessman. One was not enough for me. Now, moving to another question they asked was, where did you go to school? Did you go to the university or straight into work? Well, I was born and grew up in a rural area in Rukira Ngoma district in eastern province of Rwanda. However, in high school, I went to a seminary school, a Catholic school, Petit Séminaire Saint-Kizito de Zaza. And for undergraduate studies, I went to the University of Rwanda College of Agriculture and Veterinary Medicine. That time it was called Isaye Busogo in the northern province, in the Musanze. in a small town called Biangao. For those who went there, they remember that place. And there I got my Bachelor's of Science in Agricultural Science with honors in irrigation and drainage. And then I got also an advanced diploma in soil and water management. Then I continued for my master's and PhD degrees in agronomy and crop science at Washington State University in Pullman, Washington State. Another question they asked was, who was or still is your mentor of all the time? My mother, she was always my biggest influence, my cheerleader, and still is today. That woman, God bless you, Mom. Another question was, in what place are you happiest? This is a good one too. Uh, almost, I would say almost every time, but mostly anytime I'm with people that I love and enjoy, and anytime I see the impact of my project in the lives of the poor and hungry. So that bring a big smile on my face, and I feel so happy and joyful. Another question they asked was, you always seem happy despite your upbringing. What is your secret? How? Wow. This is this is good. I would say life is what you make it. You are positive, you attract positivity around you. You are negative, you attract negativity around you. You are loving, you attract love around you. I've chosen to live in a space of gratitude and work hard so I could follow my dreams. That gratitude is what brings happiness to me. Moving to the next question they asked was, what would you like to own that you do not currently possess? I would say enough time. I'd love to own enough time. Another question they asked was, what ambitions do you have? My ambitions are ending world hunger. This is the mission I had since I was 11 years old. And giving people access to affordable food, nutritious food, whatever they are. Because I do not like to see people experiencing what I went through in my childhood. The next question they asked was, what are the greatest achievements of your life so far? There are not so many, but I'm so happy and satisfied. I would say, in collaboration with my research team, the Sustainable Seed Systems Lab at Washington State University, we have successfully introduced quinoa in Rwanda, and now we are expanding the project in other countries in Africa. In addition to that, I received my master's and PhD degrees in one of the biggest agricultural schools in the world, and I have established excellent rapport and connections with influential people. This gives me hope that everything is possible and that we can end world hunger and malnutrition in our lifetime. The next question they asked was, what was your biggest challenge or biggest challenges during your time, and how did you overcome them? How? A lot. cases. Yeah, there were times in my life when I was hungry, lonely, and I felt like fit I did not fit in. There were times I was so desperate and life had no meaning to me. However, I did not let those circumstances define me. I have chosen to live in a space of gratitude and work hard so I could follow my dreams, and because I did not and I still do not like to see people experiencing hunger, malnutrition, and all those bad things I experienced in my childhood, poverty, all those stuff. My upbringing taught me to be optimistic and to find opportunities from the hardships, but not everyone should be expected to do so. I knew without a doubt that if I do not work hard to follow my dreams, no one else was going to do that for me. And no one was going to help me or support me if I did not help myself first. To where I am today, it didn't happen just like that. This whole journey, recovery process, and my efforts to fit in have involved several individuals who have crossed my path along the way until who I am today. People I met, my excellent friends, teachers, mentors, have all been great inspirations for me. I had every reason to choose bitterness and hopelessness, but they all have inspired me to choose love and pursue my goals and dreams with hard work and dedication. As I continue this journey, I'm forever grateful for their continuous devotion, support, and loyalty. The next question my friends and online community asked me was, how does it feel to have a PhD? uh, yeah, this is an interesting one because I just actually finished my PhD July, end of July this year, 2019. I'm a fresh doctor. I'm still getting used to this. Well, my answer will be to this question, how does it feel to be a PhD? I'd say it's the best feeling ever, and I would wish everyone to experience that. Uh, because now I can focus on work, not school. However, something everyone should keep in mind is that no matter the level of education you have or things you have achieved in your life, the degree or that status you have will not make you invincible. You will still have that fragile human core at the center of you. Just keep your character and your pure personality. The next question I was asked was, if your 20 years old self could see you now, what would he think? Haha, yeah, this is a good one too. Well, I would say he would not believe it was me because at 20 years old, I was just finishing high school, hungry and stunted, thinking that all my dreams were just dreams. Another question they asked was, Which food or dish holds a happy memory for you? Ah, any type of stew, I would say any type of stew made with peanut soup, like beef stew, goat stew, chicken stew, or vegetable stew. I grew up eating it, and anytime I visit my mother, she would cook that for me, always. Another question I was asked was, do you ever get nervous? Yeah, of course. Like most people, I get nervous only when I'm out of my element or I'm uncertain uh, about the outcomes of the situation. Speaking in front of people is like breathing to me. I I've been nervous a couple of times, and I cannot forget the day actually of July 25 this year, 2019. Was my PhD defense. That's the biggest day in my life so far. I was so nervous that day because I was like, I cannot believe this. It is happening. I can't believe it. Oh my God, I'm getting a PhD. I better do good. So that was nerve-wracking situation because that date means so much to me personally and my family. Another question I was asked was, you have done a lot at your age. Do you consider yourself successful and want to become famous? I would say a satisfied life is better than what society defines as a successful or famous life because our success is measured by others, but our satisfaction is measured by our own soul, mind, and heart. The goal is not to be successful and famous. The goal is to live life and explore the talent God gave me. Another question was, what is the best advice you've ever received? The best advice I've ever received is, do not take your life too serious. Be yourself, believe in yourself, and respect others no matter who they are. Do anything, anytime, always. Humility to the max. Another question they asked me was, in your career, you may have encountered some negative comments and holdbacks. How do you deal with it? And what advice would you give on how people should deal with that situation? I'd say be empathetic to those who are unhappy or jealous of you. They are only unhappy for you because they have a lot of stuff they are dealing with in their lives. For me, it, it is hard to be mad at someone who is hurting inside. Another question was, in if you lost everything tomorrow, what would you do? Oh God. Well, brush myself off and start all over again. I have never in my life had the luxury of giving up, and I do not understand people who do. Another question was, what is nobility to you? Uh-huh. Nobility. A true nobility is not about being better than anyone else. It is about being better than you used to be. Another question they asked me was, what motivated you to move forward, no matter the situation you may find yourself in, and why? Huh. Well, my life is my biggest motivation. Despite the hardships, tragedy, and much worse situation I went through in my life has taught me a lesson. What I discovered from this awakening was that my life is a dream of someone else. When things are not going well, this is what I tell or speak to myself. Your life may not be perfect now, but nevertheless, be thankful for it. Someone else, someone or somewhere else is fighting to be alive. Maybe my family members, friends, and many other people who left us for good would wish to live longer. Who am I to take this life for granted? That's when I came to realize that I should never take my life for granted. Since then, I have learned to be grateful to whatever life is offering to me. Good or bad, I'm grateful. I have chosen to keep the smile on my face and move on and thrive for self-reliant because I have realized that every day is a blessing to me. I am very grateful to every single day of my life and I always count my blessings. That gratitude is what brings happiness in my life and fuel my desire to work hard to achieve the goals of my life. Because I believe that my existence was not an accident. I exist for a reason as everyone else does. The goal is to live my life out through the ability God gave me and make use of it while I can. Another question I was asked, I think this is the last one, yeah, on the list. I was asked, what would be your advice to the youth or young generation? My advice to the youth is your potential is infinite and it is always bigger than whatever problems you are going through. Every one of us was born with the purpose. If you are here, you matter. Keep that in mind. However, you only need to have one important thing in your life to become whatever you want to become or whatever you want to do with your life. That important thing is responsibility. Be responsible for all your actions and listen to your mentors and then follow your heart. Never follow the crowd. Stop thinking about dream jobs, but instead focus on finding your life purpose, how you want to live your life, and the impact you want to make or achieve in your lifetime. The most question you should carry in your mind is, what do I really want to do? What do I have to offer? And the answer to that is you making sure that everything you do move to the direction and vision you set. And then you do that, the forces of life rise to meet you. Even though it is not easy because we all have things we battle in our lives, the circumstances of your life, what you look like, where you come from, how much money you have, what you have going on at home or in your life. That is not an excuse for you to take your life for granted and not to pursue your dreams. Where you are right now doesn't determine where you will end up. No one's written your destiny for you. You are the architect of your destiny. And even when you are struggling, even when you are discouraged, or you feel like other people have given up on you, do not ever give up on yourself. Do not let your fear write your future. Get out of your comfort zone and follow your dreams, and do not give up. Great things take time, and keep in mind that there is no competition in destiny. People want to succeed fast because they want to prove something to somebody else, or they want to impress somebody. That is what makes them vulnerable. Please slow down. Stop trying to impress people. Do this for yourself. When it is for you, you have your whole life. When it is for them, you try to do it today. Living your life for someone else, it is always a mistake, even when it comes from a good place. When writing a story of your life, do not let anyone else hold the pen. Focus less on winning the approval of others, and do not wait around for someone else to give you the permission to live your life. Try everything. Never be afraid of making mistakes. Be afraid of making the same mistake repeatedly. What you plant today, you will harvest it later. So if you do not plant anything, do not expect any harvest. There are things that you are good at, and there are things that you love. If you have to wake up and go to work rather than you have to go to work, then you are doing the right thing. If you do not have that something you love that makes you feel that way, please find it. It will give you great peace of mind. Just one final note. Also, please get your life together, youth, and stop taking it for granted. You know, your grandparents went through war and the depression, and now you are crying because you do not have 1,000 followers on social media. You should do better than that. Take care, everyone. Thank you for listening. Until next time.